Okay, so we're going to be creating a new project in SimBA. So if you go to the SimBA protocol on the SharePoint, you can find the directions for this. We're going to start by opening Anaconda prompt. If you're on the Alienware that has the see-through sides, you're going to open it not as an administrator and just type in conda activate inv36. This is going to activate the virtual Python environment that runs on Python version 3.6. And then you'll just type in SimBA and the SimBA GUI will pop up. So what I've done to prepare for this is I have this SimBA folder in my documents on my user, and I have this folder that I've been working on for my head fixed project. In this folder, I have a body parts list, which is just a text document with each body part in the same order that Deep Lab Cut outputs my data. I also have a couple images that I can use, one that has no dots on it, but this is an image of the mouse view that I'm using. And then I also have one that does have dots on it, some dots on it, that I could use for creating my project. An example of this for the top-down view, which might be a little bit easier to grasp, is this image here. And so it doesn't matter if it's a cartoon or if it is the actual mouse. It's just something I think that SimBA uses to show you what the body part configuration looks like. So that, and then the other things that I did to prep, so I created this body parts list. I created this figure just from one of my videos, and then I created two folders, one that is Deep Lab Cut data, and then one that is videos. And so if I navigate into one of these folders, my Deep Lab Cut data has the CSVs that were output by Deep Lab Cut. And you'll notice I am just using the raw data from Deep Lab Cut. And you have to make sure that you decide initially whether or not you want to use just the raw data or the filtered data. I can't have some files that are filtered data and some files that are raw data because SimBA won't process that. And then I also have all the corresponding videos that I had put Deep Lab Cut data, that I had put to get that Deep Lab Cut data. And these video names have not been changed since this Deep Lab Cut data was created. So the beginning of this Deep Lab Cut data has the exact same naming configuration as my videos, and that's important for SimBA as well. So now that I have all of the things I need for my project, to start my project prepped, I'm going to go into SimBA. So this is the GUI that will open, and this screen will tell you the version number of SimBA you're working with. And it will also tell you any steps that it's completed or if any errors pop up. This is a good first place to look, and then your Anaconda prompt window is a good second place to look. So I'm going to create a project by going to File, Create a New Project. And then before I fill out any of this information, I'm going to want to look at this body part configuration list. And my head fixed mouse is not in here. So I'm going to create a pose configuration before doing anything else. So I'm going to name this head fixed view, mouth, and whiskers. And there's just one animal in my videos, and there are 32 body parts. So now I'm going to navigate to the image that I want to use, and let me just look back on those. I want to use the one without dots. V2. Kind of forgot. Yes, V2. And so I'm going to select that and open, and then select confirm. And now body part list will show up on the left. And so I can go and open up my Word doc that had my body parts. And again, these are in the same order as Deep Lab Cut outputs the data, and I don't know if that's important because I haven't played with that, but I would not play with it because this is a pretty annoying step to do. So I'm just going to copy and paste each of these. One important note is that you cannot have any spaces in your naming configuration for the pose config name or the body part name. So just make sure there aren't any spaces in this. Okay, so now that I've input all of the body part names, I'm going to select Save User Defined Pose Config, and this will pop up the image of my animal. So it's important to note, one, it always pops up in a weird random size, so just make it into a size that works for your eyes. And it might be nice to have this next to your body part list. It will tell you what body part you're doing in this top area. And then the biggest thing is just to make sure you're going very slowly and labeling the body part that you're supposed to be labeling. If you label something incorrectly, you're going to have to perform this entire process again. There's no changing where these dots are placed. So I'm going to start with the left mouse, and I'm just going to left click, and it puts a 1 there. And so this is why it can be nice to have to load an image that already has dots in place, maybe even with numbers that relate to your body part list, so that you really don't mess up. Left bottom lip, right bottom lip. So once I've done all the body parts, that window just automatically disappears, unfortunately. And now I should be able to see that pose configuration in my body part config list. So now I can actually create my project. I'm going to navigate to the folder I made for my project. So here I am in HeadFix SimBA Test. You're selecting the folder. So if this makes more sense, here's one folder back. I want to select HeadFix SimBA Test as the folder for my project directory. So that is going to create a folder within HeadFix SimBA Test for my Deep Lab, or for my SimBA output. So there is my project directory. My project name is going to be HeadFixed mouth behaviors, licking behaviors. Okay, and then the workflow file type I'm working with is CSVs. And then I'm going to add the number of classifiers or behaviors that I'm working with. If I'm just doing SimBA to, let's say, see when a cue light turns on and off, to detect the onset or offset of trials, or just run ROI analysis, I can make this number 1, because there has to be something here, and then just write the name of the one ROI that I want. Okay, so you're going to put the number of classifiers or behaviors that you're looking at in. So I'm looking at 7 different behaviors, and then I'm just going to put the behavior names in here. I'm not sure if these can have spaces in them, so I'm just going to not put spaces here. Spout lick, lip lick. Okay. And my type of tracking is classic tracking. If you're working with multiple animals, it might be multi-tracking. And then I'm going to select the pose configuration that I created earlier. And there is where my labeled image pops up. Okay. So oftentimes when you're working with this screen, the actual button that says create project config is hidden. So you just have to widen the screen. Okay. So I'm going to select create project config and look back on this SimBA output, and so it says project directory tree and project config ini was created and the path that it was created in. So I can check in my folder that I made for my project and look for my new head fixed licking behaviors project name. And so here I'm going to have this project config under that project folder of my project name. So when you're initially importing your videos, I guess you're just going to import whichever videos that you're going to be using, and then you can kind of close out of this project configuration box. That should all be complete. And then you can load your project, go to File, Load Project, and browse for the folder that SimBA created. So mine was head fixed licking behaviors, and then go to the project folder and then project config and open that to load your project, and then this will pop open. And so before you are able to actually load the deep lab cut data, you're going to go into video parameters and configure video parameters. And so to do this, you need a known distance in millimeters. So I know my spout is 5 millimeters wide. So I'm going to put that distance in here. If you have a lot of videos that you're doing all at once, you can put your known distance here and auto-populate that for all of your videos, so that you don't have to keep typing in 5. And then you're going to select calculate distance. And I know my spout was from here to here, 5 millimeters. So I'm just going to double left click at one end of the spout and double right click on the other. And I don't really love that line because it's a little angled. So I'm going to double click again to create the second point again. And I like this line, so I'm going to press escape to save that. And so it's pulling out the information from the properties of my video for the frames per second and the resolution, width, and height. And now it's calculating the resolution in pixels per millimeter of that distance. And so now I can save this data and close this. Oh, and I'll just check that that's saved. So my video info was saved in this logs video info.csv. So now that I've saved that, I can now import my deep lab cut data. So my deep lab cut data is in my original project folder that I created with all the stuff in it, and in this DLC data folder. So I'm going to open that and import that. Okay, so that imported,